Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories where I go with them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today I'm going to do a story titled, My Wife, a 26-year-old female, is currently cheating on me as I write this. And I shout out to Paul for sending in this story. And guys, this story is about a husband, 28 years old, only married 2.5 years, and already the wife is off having an affair. And as unfortunate as this is and hard for him, our guy's really handling it like a boss. This guy is handling it like a chess match and poker at the same time. He found out about his wife doing this, and while she thinks that he has no idea, he's moving all the pieces in the chessboard in the right places to get out of this and get as unscathed as possible and potentially stick it to her by exposing her, even though he claims he doesn't like exposing people. And that'd be a pretty entertaining one, how to handle things right. But before I get into this, guys, come check me out on Patreon or Locals. A bunch of guys are already over there. We're always looking for new people. You can become a free member and see what it's all about in a censorship-free environment, unlike here. Or you can become a paying supporter and get all my stuff on here for free, commercial-free, and in advance. And, of course, I do 2 to 3 exclusive videos a week that are on YouTube. So I'll post a link in the description, and come check it out. I think you guys will like it. And a shout out to all the guys that come over and joined already. Okie doke. So, starts off, says here, my wife and I got married a few years ago. Both born and raised in the U.S., and we come from pretty strict families. Aha, strict families. For a bit of backstory, my wife had a bit of a history before we got married. But I do as well, but not as bad. Regardless, I didn't feel like the need to compare numbers, as she and I both changed and wanted to settle down. She didn't change, and if you have a girl that him saying she had a bit of a history means she had quite a history. You can't turn an HO into a housewife, and no doubt she's a cheater. Our marriage has been good so far. No, it hasn't. We haven't had any major arguments, travel a lot, constantly communicate our feelings, etc. Fast forward to a few weeks ago. I left the house, however I forgot something, so I stepped back in and overheard my wife in the other room on the phone all giggly, like as if she was talking to me, especially when we first got engaged and married. The words out of her mouth pierced my chest. She explicitly said the following, "You better F me for at least 3 hours." That sucks, but thank God he came back in the house. She had to be saying that pretty darn loud for him to hear that across the house. Well, I froze. I really didn't know what to do. I snuck back out of the house and stood by the door for a few seconds to make sure I left undetected. That poor guy, only married 2.5 years and already she's into it. Remember my part about him? Remember when he said that she has a bit of a history? I think it's more than a bit, and she hasn't changed. The next part I'm not proud of, but at night I forced myself to stay up late until the middle of the night, and I grabbed her phone and snuck to the other room. I searched, but nothing. Then I looked in her recently deleted texts and found messages with an unsaved phone number. Over 1,100 of them, in fact. Holy crap, 1,100. Well, if the phone is in his name, he can do some homework and see all the stuff that he couldn't recover here. I read through the messages, and they were sickening. Not just about daily life, but a lot of it about S-word stuff. Things that they would do to each other, and things that they did do to each other. Reminiscing about other recent meetups. How she's hid it from me, etc. There are many pictures and videos for evidence as well, even a couple with them both. Man, this poor guy, again, only 2.5 years. But he's got all the evidence there. This was 2 weeks ago. I've kept quiet ever since. Every night when my wife goes to sleep, I read the text to stay updated. Today they were planning on meeting up at our place while I was out at work. That's despicable. I mean, what she's doing is awful, but it adds a whole new level of insult to injury by doing it in their own house, in their own marital bed, no doubt. I'm sure she loves it. I've heard stories where the cheating wife would want the guy to release, if you will, on her wedding ring because she loved it, punishing her husband. Sick. She also mentioned that sometimes I do work from home, and that if that was the case, they would go to his place as a backup plan or get a nearby hotel. Assuming he lives somewhere far away, because he only one message he explicitly stated he hated being single and wanted to be with her. This morning, when I told my wife I'd be working from home, she looked a little bit annoyed, even insisting I go into work because I had been home a lot. And about an hour later, she told me she was going to hang out with her friend, dolled up in makeup, and I'm very sure, because of the text, that I know where she was currently going, and currently is. It's one thing to know if it's happening, but to know, now be sure it's actively happening as I type this, good God. Doesn't she have a job? Is he the one bringing home all the bacon? Which will make things a little difficult if they're in a no-fault divorce state, but regardless. I'm amazed at some of these guys, upon finding these things out, are able to keep it cool, And obviously their wives or girlfriends are so full of themselves they're not noticing, but really, I'd like to think in a situation like that I'd be able to keep my cool and have a poker face and play the long game, but that's got to be tough. So I salute this guy. The crazy thing is my wife tells me that she loves me all the time. She's either putting on an amazing face to me or generally just cannot control her urges. However, that doesn't change the facts. Dude, she doesn't love you. If she loved you, she wouldn't do this, okay? She's a great actress. And I promise you this isn't her first rodeo. I don't even know where to begin, what to do. I screenshot a lot of the texts and sent them to myself, as well as some of the screenshots, purely for evidence. But I'm not really an exposing type of person, nor do I want to use them in any way against her. I would, and I know he's eventually going to have this evidence to get what he wants. You gotta control the narrative because a deceitful scumbag like her is going to do it and try to make you look bad. She deserves to be exposed. I think my next step is to laying the evidence in front of her and going from there. No, don't do that. Get a lawyer. And by the way, this is a 2-part thing and he's going to do that. Don't let her know. I appreciate any thoughts of advice. So he posted his first part, got a lot of advice, and here we are with the update and what he's doing. He says, okay, so this is a minor update with some clarification since I was a little vague in my first post, because honestly thought maybe 5 people would read it. Nope, not a Reddit, man. First off, a lot of people were suggesting I get lawyers and evidence. I did state in my previous post I was sending screenshots from her phone to mine. This is the evidence I was gathering. Not to mention there are pictures of them together with their faces in the pictures, so I feel as if that should be enough. And the lawyer I contacted has agreed. Good, he reached out to a lawyer. I don't know, you guys, at the moment of striking, I would arrange it and study her texts where, he say he's going into work and he's certain that guy is going to come to the house, and I'd have cameras there. I would invite her parents over to surprise them, that type of thing. That's what I would do. Second off, yes, I already contacted the lawyer. To be honest, when I was asking for advice, I was asking more how to approach this with her and really just carry on the rest of my life. Since we've been only married 2.5 years, she cheated, the lawyer is pretty confident that she'll walk away with nothing. Well, I wouldn't count your chickens till they hatch. Maybe they are in a at-fault state. I don't know. I'm also going to tell my wife that if she wants her reputation to remain somewhat intact, that a seamless and quick divorce is what I want. There you go. Use that as leverage. She cares about reputation. You got all the evidence. You got the power, man. I'm pretty confident she's not going to want to go after my assets. Don't go into that. Be sure she's going to try to go after your assets. You have to be prepared for war. Not to mention, as I said in my previous post, we come from strict upbringings, so I'm hoping to spare her family the details. You guys might disagree with this, but I've come to really love my in-laws. They've embraced me fully and have been nothing but kind to me, and I prefer not to devastate them, not for her, but for them. Yeah, man, but their devotion to you and treatment of you could go right out the door when their little girl is going through a divorce. That could change like that. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen to people I know, and I heard plenty of stories like that. I would, if you need to use this as leverage to get a speedy and favorable divorce terms and not tell them, okay. But don't think for a second. Don't be naive to think that they won't turn on you. As for the minor update part, my wife came home yesterday as if nothing happened. Made up a whole story of her friend gossiping about blah, 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 but I know the hotel she was at, because at night I confirmed those when reading the text while she was asleep, as well as getting more photo evidence that he sent her from their time there. Of course, I sent those to myself as well. Perfect. I still think he should arrange it to well, I'm going to work on Wednesday, honey, letting her know, and following the text exchanges, and she goes off to work. Come back, have cameras there. Have him come back. Have the family come back when she's there with the guy. Something like that to catch her red-handed. Because you're not technically telling the in-laws, they just happen to see it. The texts are pretty darn horrific to read. I think the most bizarre thing is how normal she's acting. Usually there's behavioral changes if people cheat, at least that's what people have said, but I absolutely would have no reason to believe otherwise had I not overheard her the other day on the phone. I mean, this could have gone on for years, and I would have assumed we were fine. Yeah, there are guys that have their whole marriages shit like this goes on, which tells me this probably happened before this guy, probably during your engagement, probably during your dating relationship phase. And again, you said she has a bit of a past. I mean, guys, I have sympathy for this guy. I really do, and I feel bad for him, but he's got to get out of this. For those saying I should expose the guy to his family or girlfriend, I did mention that he appears to be single. I did think about contacting his job, but I'm not sure if that will solve anything. And I really don't care about him. From what I gathered, he kind of seems like a loser anyway. If the peak of his life is sleeping with a married woman, then so be it. He probably is a loser. A lot of married women like to go with losers because they know it's not going to go anywhere. As for how things started with them, I'm not entirely sure. They don't work together, nor do they work out at the same gym, or go to any of the same places. The only thing I can assume is they spoke on a different platform before texting, so that information is unknown to me at this time. If I find out, though, I'll update you guys. This goes back to the open phone policy. Why, if your girlfriend or wife has social media, it better be just pictures of the dog and the cat and family vacations and stuff like that. If your girlfriend or wife has a social media, let's just say Instagram, and there's selfies of her at the gym and stuff like that, you can bet your ass she's being bombarded with texts and messages from dudes all over the world. And you got to pay attention to that. But yes, a lawyer has been contacted. My wife is going on a week-long trip with her family in the next couple of days, so my hope is to have everything situated and spill the beans when she gets back. Tell her that if she agrees to a quick and easy divorce, then I'll spare her folks the details, and she can tell them we cordially decided to split up. For all I care, as long as she doesn't spin me to be the bad guy. Dude, she's going to spin you to be the bad guy. I'd be like, I got no problem being the bad guy as long as you don't fuck with my assets and try to take me to the cleaners, and it's quick. But, there could be other ways that the parents find out the truth where he doesn't break his terms for the divorce. Because at the end of the day, I really don't see the need to drag them down this hellhole as well. Last thing, the guy my wife is cheating with has asked my wife several times to leave me so they can be together. Hey, let her be his problem. It doesn't seem like she's interested in a committed relationship with him, more of just fun on the side. See? That's why they go these loser types, because they know it can't go anywhere. She has even said throughout texts, I'm a great husband, and that at the end of the day, she does feel guilty for cheating. Yeah, I can tell how bad she feels, really. Of course, this means nothing to me except more evidence for the lawyer. But I really don't think they're going to end up together once we split up. If anything, she may resent him afterwards. Not your problem. But yeah, I hope I was able to clear some things up after some confusion. I haven't been in the doormat spineless guy some of you guys have suggested. I have taken action. I was just more looking for advice on on anything other than the marriage part. But I understand my vagueness probably made it seem like I was acting otherwise. I don't see this guy as a doormat or anything. I see this guy, boom, he's done with her. End of story, and he's playing it cool. And he's gathering evidence. That's the way to go, So I guess I'll ask again, any advice about how to approach this moving forward? Well, I would say based on life experience and knowing other guys been through divorce and thousands of videos, I say he's doing a pretty darn good job. Let her go out of town, get all the paperwork in order, prepare to have her served. Who knows? I don't know if they rent an apartment or have a home together. I can't recall if he said that or he didn't mention it at all. That'd be great if she left. Make things a lot easier, but it may be he has to leave, but I wouldn't want to be around her after all that. And by the way, the only thing I will say is guaranteed she's going to put on the full court press of the waterworks because obviously she doesn't want to be with this lover of hers. He just wants to bang her. She just wants to hook up with him. So she's going to put on the full court press of the waterworks, and she's so sorry and probably blame him and all these things. Don't fall for it. But he better be prepared for that. And a lot of guys get weak at the knees when they hear the tears. This is why women are so good at the tears, because it works on so many guys. He can't fall for that, because if he, after knowing all this, falls for her waterworks and we'll go to marriage counseling and I'll be different and you can look at my phone, she'll be back to doing that in 3 months. Guaranteed, she'll just be better covering up her tracks. And you do really want to live your life being her warden? That's not a very good place to go. He's only 28 years old. He's young. He's 20 freaking years younger than me. A whole life ahead. His prime hasn't even begun. You know? But I hope when he gets through this, he learns, don't get involved or marry a girl who has a bit of a history. It's not going to go well, especially this freaking generation. So I definitely expect more updates. So if you guys see updates before I do, let me know and I'll definitely cover it. So good luck to this guy. Alright guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.